MC for today is the one, the only, Mr. Stan Simpson. For the past 10 years, Mr. Simpson has been a Director of Strategic Communication and Planning for Bloomfield Public Schools. He is an award-winning public relations executive. Before that, he was an award-winning journalist, having served as a print columnist for the Hartford Courant, a radio talk show host for then the CBS-owned WTIC A.M., and a local television host for Fox 61. Stan is a treasurer emeritus at Archer Memorial A Design Church and former trustee, chairperson. He is also a former resident of Windsor. Without further ado, we bring to you Mr. Simpson.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Good evening. Good morning. Survived the storm, survived the flood. Just to kind of be clear, I was not a treasurer emeritus, but a trustee emeritus. They keep me away from the money and counting. It's good to be here. We've done this, Archer has done this for multiple years, this annual celebration, and it's a great reflection of Windsor, a town where I lived for many years. It's great to see the diversity of faces, of people. It's such a great town that is so reflective of the dream that Dr. King had. So it's good to be back. It's good to see you here. We have a great program planned. We're going to keep it fast-paced and moving, and hope you enjoy it. As most of you know, today, Dr. King would have been 95 years old. You know, the journalists, I always wondered if you were to interview him, what would his thoughts be about where we are now? What is the dream? Are we getting close? Is he happy? Where is he not happy? It'd be fascinating to get his thoughts and reflections on where we are now as a society. Unfortunately, he died at age 39. So though he would have been 95 today, he died before he was 40. And people don't realize that before, he lived so much of his life before 40 that most people live in 80 years. Right? He was a Nobel Prize winner at age 35, 1964, the youngest Nobel Prize Award winner for his work in age 35, the youngest, for helping to lead nonviolent efforts to deal with racial injustice. So his rhetoric was spread around the world, the country, Africa, Asia, other countries really looked at what he was doing, and to this day still model those principles. So he was really a phenomenal man. And what a lot of people don't know is that he had some very compelling experiences here in Connecticut, in Simsbury. How many of you know that? He, during the 1940s, he would come here as a student from Morehouse College, him and his friends, and they worked in tobacco fields in the Simsbury. And so, though there was clearly racism in Connecticut and the North, you didn't have government-sanctioned segregation. So he could go and work the tobacco fields and go to Hartford and go to movies with other folks. You have blacks and whites at movie theaters. Yes. You have blacks and whites in restaurants. You have blacks and whites in churches. So it had a profound effect on him. He comes from the Deep South, where he had never experienced integration. So a lot of folks believe that his I Have a Dream speech was shaped by his experiences to some degree here in Simsbury, and even his decision to go into the ministry, when he felt that what he saw here, the diversity he saw here, also shaped him in his path to be a minister. So Connecticut had a very profound impact on Dr. King, and we hope to, again, celebrate that here today. So without further ado, we want to have a prayer. We want to start things off with a prayer, and Pastor Westley Beason from Mount Zion Redemption Church here in Windsor is going to give us a prayer, and again remind us as we go into this program, it's all about judging folks on the content of their character, not on the color of their skin.
Hallelujah. We give God glory. We give God praise. This is my first time here at this event, but I'm sure it won't be my last. We are with the Mount Zion Redemption Church, which is now in a building that used to be St. Gertrude's on 550 Mechanic Avenue. So I I'm glad to be a part of this. I've been in Windsor for many, many years. I went to Bloomfield High School, but I've lived in Windsor for many years. My kids went to school in Windsor. Let us pray. I'm going to ask if you could stand for the prayer. Almighty God, almost 60 years ago, on the Lincoln Memorial, Dr. Martin Luther King, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., stood up with his "I Have a Dream" speech. And Father, some 60 years later, we are coming here in the oldest town in Windsor to mark and to celebrate the birthday of Dr. Martin Luther King and what he has done. When he gave that speech, he made it as a check that was not yet cashed, based on the Declaration of Independence. And Father, we come here today being recipients of that dream, the dream that is still unfolding. Father, we ask that in the name of Jesus that you will go before this event. We ask that your blessings will be upon this event as we recollect the contributions of Dr. Martin Luther King to the freedoms that we so cherish today. Let your hands be upon this service, this memorial. Let your blessing be upon this memorial. Let your blessing be upon every person that will speak and participate. And Father, we give you glory, we give you honor, and we give you praise. And we declare, look what the Lord has done. For he has done great things. Bless his holy name. Father, we saw that a few years back, President Obama became president of the United States. And that signaled that we have come a long way. I want to remind us as I close this prayer that we've come this far by faith, leaning on the Lord, trusting in his holy name, and he's never failed us yet. I quote Jeremiah 32, verse 27. I am the God of all flesh, and there is nothing too hard for me. Look what the Lord has done. God bless you.
God bless you.
And that was Pastor Westley Beason, Mount Zion Redemption Church here in Windsor. Thank you for that great prayer. Hey, one quick personal story. I had 2 cataracts removed in about 6 months this year. Really had problems seeing from a distance. Had some stuff going on there, so they took surgery. Now I have perfect vision. 12 away. But there's one drawback. I can't read close. Good news, bad news. Next up we have Sister Sissy. Well, I call her Sister Sissy in church. It's Salena Willis. She's from our church. She's going to give the statement of occasion.
Good afternoon, all. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to be here and read to you the mission statement. We are here today to celebrate the dream, the life, and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. We have come together once again as a community to honor Dr. King's principle of freedom, justice, and brotherhood, and a day, as Stan told us a moment ago, that would have marked his 95th, did you say?
Yes.
Birthday. Our theme, can we read it together? to be a drum major for justice, equity, and peace. If not you, then who? Thank you.
Now I'm going to provide you a solo rendition. I joke about that. We're all going to sing next. We're going to sing, and Pat's going to lead us. We're going to go with lift every voice and sing, and the words are on your back, on the back of your program, and we'll follow along with the video.
Can we all stand? It's right here on the back of your program.
We need people who can really sing. I cannot sing.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as a listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the
Got it? I hope you're too in the way. I don't think so.
of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our fathers sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughter. Out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star
our town officials and elected leaders. We're going to have the town council members, led by Mayor Nuchette Black-Burke, who became recently the first Black woman mayor in the history of Windsor. In Windsor and Connecticut. You can see anyone who can match up their glasses to their dress. That's got to be a pretty good leader to lead people. Windsor Town Council will come up. Mayor Black-Burke, and then the Board of Education members, President David Fury, and his group will come up and they'll give a few brief remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. I need to do something different. It's a running joke in town, right?
Yes.
The glasses and the outfits, but that's okay. My expression. So I'm gonna ask all the counselors if you could join me up here. That would be great. But I'm not going to stay before you long, so you'll hear from me a little bit later. But just really so grateful that we are all gathered here today. All gathered here. And the counselors will introduce themselves, but Martin Luther King Jr., Doctor, put respect on the name, Doctor, Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. For me, it's not just about the man, but truly about his life. I reflect on being a 6th grader right around the corner at St. Gabriel's School, and the modern woodmen of America, they were having an oratorical contest. And that's what I decided to talk about. And that speech took me throughout Connecticut competing for a national spot to present on his dream. And I stand here today embodying his dream. I am his dream. Martin Luther King Day takes on a whole new meaning for me because I am his dream. That I can stand here representing all of you as the first African Caribbean man here.
All right.
So now the counselors, would you like me to introduce you, sir?
Absolutely.
So our minority leader, Mr. Lenworth Walker.
Thank you. I'm honored and humbled to be here today and to have our mayor, our honorable Madame Mayor. We're on our best behavior. And we would never, and I would never, comment on the mayor's glasses. That's the biggest lie you can do. When we get along, we're fine. Today's we're remembering Dr. Martin Luther King. We need to look at how far we have come, but not just how far we have come, but strategically, where are we going and what steps we're taking. Thank you very much. Our next counselor is Counselor Ojala Nai.
And it is an honor to be here today celebrating the life, the legacy, and the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The work he did and the work of that time has led so many more movements of importance, of civil rights, of fighting for justice in this country. Without him, a lot of that would not be happening. So I know we talk a lot about the dream, but I want to share a quote that has really stood out to me as I reflect on Dr. King and the legacy he's left behind. He said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. Never again can we afford to live with the narrow, provincial, outside agitator idea.
That's right.
So I ask you all, remember those words.
Yes.
Remember what never again meant, and let's make sure moving forward we don't have to say never again. And it is my honor to introduce Deputy Mayor Darlene Less.
Good
hosting this event to honor the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I just want to say it's an honor and a pleasure and a gratitude every day I wake up in the town of Windsor to be with people who work for racial justice every day. This theme around Be the Drum Major, each and every one of you in this room and the people in our community are the drum majors. So thank you for all the work you do every day. I'd like to introduce Leroy Smith.
Good evening, everyone. I noticed I always say best to last. I take glory and honor in that. But thank you and welcome everyone to this event. I was told to keep this to, if I do speak, to keep it to less than 30 seconds. I'm wondering to myself, wait a second. Y'all become a politician. How are you going to let me make it to 30 seconds? Right? You know, I have to speak more than, anyway, let me not take any more time. Just something I wrote. Today, we celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day to honor the life and legacy of one of the most influential civil rights leaders in history. Dr. King was a champion of equality, justice, and peace, and his message of hope and unity continues to inspire people around the world. In his famous I Have a Dream speech, Dr. King spoke of his vision of a world where people are judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. He believed that everyone, regardless of their race, religion, or background, should be treated with dignity and respect. As we reflect on Dr. King's legacy, let us remember that his work is not yet done. There is still much to be done to achieve in his vision of a just and equitable society. Let us continue to work together to build a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive and succeed. In the words of Dr. King himself, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. Let us strive to be the light that drives out darkness and the love that drives out hate. Thank you.
Now we'll hear from our board of ed members, President David Fury and his members.
Yes, we kind of have our leadership by Nuchette and the procedure they went through with the town council, and I'll do the same here. My name is David Fury. I'm president of the Windsor Board of Education. So glad to be at this event. Thank you to Pat Gardner and the A.M.E. Zion Church here in Windsor for putting this on each year. The theme today, be a drum major for justice, equity, and peace. As alluded to by Ms. Clace, how important that is and what we are doing as individuals already in this community. And this is part of it, by just being here. And the term equity is very important in the Windsor Public Schools. You know, our mission is to discover the genius in every student, and make lifelong learners. We want to make education fun and hard, but to see for students to see that importance. And the equity work that we do is just so important in this community. And I know we have our superintendent in here as well. And again, greetings. And the next person I'll introduce is our Vice President, A.M.E.
Thank you, President Fury. We're always told to keep it brief, but you know we don't know how to do that, so I'm going to try to push it along. Ayanna Taylor, as President Fury introduced me, I took the opportunity to keep my pen on today to just give a little learning moment. I could have said anything up here, but I just thought that, you know, to the theme and Dr. King's messaging. I am a part of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which is the first historically Black Greek letter organization. And we were established today 116 years ago. And I just want to call that out, that, you know, our founders that many years ago, you know, at a historically black college, it was there, the Negro colleges, because we couldn't educate ourselves anywhere else. And so I wanted to leave the pin on so you can see the 1908 and understand that that work is still going. Yes. And then when Dr. King came around, that work was still going. And we're standing up here and that work is still going. So I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that every year that we're here, because it's a day on instead of a day off. But to keep the needle going, we have to continue to make it so it's not the first Afro-Caribbean mayor in Windsor. It's the 15th, it's the 20th, it's the 30th, so that Brother Ezra here can say, you know, my mom was, you know what I mean? This needs to continue. Windsor, we are a town of first, and it's beautiful, but I think it's about time that not being a shock across, you know, our state and across our nation. So let's continue to move the needle forward, and you know, keep the, you know, the drum major, continue being a drum major for justice. Thank you. Minority Leader Paul Panos.
I've been on the board for quite a few years, put it that way, and this is just a beautiful, celebration. I especially like the song, and like Ayanna says, our main focus is to teach our kids so that they can rise up. And our focus should be that all students should have minimum education that is excellent. Now, I don't think that I can out talk my friends before me, or certainly won't be able to beat Mr. Lockhart. So I think I'll just introduce Nathan Wallace.
Good afternoon. My name is Nathan Williston. I'm standing here, not the oldest member of the Windsor Board of Education, quite the opposite. Yeah, I'm very happy and excited to be here. You know, I was just thinking today, I was blessed to be at the Delta's Martin Luther King's breakfast that they had this morning. And one thing that they mentioned that you don't hear too often around this time of year was that, you know, well, it's common knowledge. His name is Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. He was a preacher, he was a pastor, he was a man of God. And that's something that we can't divorce from his title, and we can't divorce from who he was. So even in thinking of that, I was led to remember the message that I sat through yesterday in church. And it brought through the idea that there's more, you know, that there's more that we can offer as people. As we see in the title here, be a drum major for justice, equity, and peace. There's more we all can do to ensure that we're enforcing and creating a world around us that supports justice, that supports equity, that supports peace. So I challenge each and every one of us today to really look inside and figure out what we can do to ensure that we are contributing to the more around us. Thank you.
Letter goes next. I'm done.
James Madison.
I am unapologetically patriotic. And one of the things I love about Dr. King is the way he used the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence to guilt trip the entire country into doing the right thing. So when he got up there, he said, listen, I've read the Constitution, I've read the Declaration of Independence, we're not living up to it. Right? We need everybody in this country pulling as hard as they can in the right direction, being the full person they can be, and when we all do that, we can be a great nation. That flag belongs to everybody, equally. We're all part of a great nation, and we need to make sure that everybody can rise up to the full strength that they have, and if we all do that, that's how we make a great nation. This is a great man winner.
This is a great day because you know what? Hate is a burden that's too great to bear. And Martin definitely set forth a vision for us to have a town like Windsor. We're very diverse, and at times we revere each other, and at times we revile each other. But the one good thing is that Windsor has resolve. We have great resolve, and we are a shining example of what you can do when you bring different communities together for the greater good. We're not going to agree on everything, and that's okay. As long as that we're civil and collaborative, it's okay to disagree, but it's not okay to be disagreeable.
Right.
So that is the charge that I leave for everybody today. We have a lot of great work to continue to do. Let's celebrate what we've done. Let's celebrate what we're doing. But more importantly, let's rejoice in the things that we are going to accomplish. Because we may not be here to see it, but trust and believe by faith, we know it's going to happen.
Yes.
All right, thank you folks, appreciate that. I want to also recognize other dignitaries who are here today. Town Manager Peter Sousa is here. Peter is here every year, and they say these town manager jobs are stressful. You know, Peter keeps looking younger every year. So I'm going to share his secret with how he's doing that. I covered Windsor years ago. The cub reporter before Peter came covered Albert Ills' era, and you came after Mr. Ills, right? So thank you again for your support. Also, we have here Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Terrell Hill. Very low level in the state, and thank you for your service. State Representative Jane Garbe is here. Longtime State Rep, and State Representative Miriam Khan is also here. In case we missed anybody, any clergy, elected leaders that we may have missed, I know folks come out to support the event, we don't want to leave anyone out. I do want to recognize two people who I see in the audience. Former State Rep Brandon McGee.
Yes.
I want to recognize June Archer. Entertainment mogul, and every year for the past, I think at least 10 years, he has recognized and organized an event that recognizes 100 women and 100 men of color, simply to uplift them, to amplify their accomplishments. It's held in Bushnell. It's a must-attend event. I want to thank him for his service. Now we'll go to our poetry performance. Ryan T. Carter is going to give us a performance. Let me just explain who he is. He's oh, what did I say? I take the glasses. Ryan T. Parker. Sorry, Ryan. Sorry about that. He's an educator, hip-hop artist, and poet. And he is going to share his talent, a little background. His mission is to disrupt oppressive legacy embedded in educational spaces and influence and empower educators and youth to also engage in the disruption. His 20-year career in teaching has been dedicated towards challenging United States education norms, reimagining schools, and applying that reimagination to his own pedagogy. His work focuses on race and education. In addition to his work, he's an author, husband, father, self-described mama's boy, and an avid chocolate chip cook lover. He also, 2020, was recognized, 2020. He's a young man, trust me. In 2020, he was recognized by the Harvard Peace Center as the 2020 Peace Hero of the Decade. Mr. Martin.
Let me be your only nightmare. Close your eyes, and I'll be right there soon. I'll be right there soon. Baby, let me be your only nightmare. Close your eyes, and I'll be right there soon. I'll be right there soon. I guess I'll chase it of the dream again. Connected with my team and now I'm feeling like I'm me again. I got dirty, rinsed off, feeling clean again. Haters keep looking, but I'm focused, I ain't seeing them. I know my worth in this church that I'm preaching in. I'm nothing like Shel Sandberg, but I keep on leaning in. I drew a thick line quick between peace and sin. Words made a flame, I spit the heat that keeps seeping in. The rest of y'all are just zombies steady sleeping in. I dream with odds wide so I can see success creeping in. I saw the soldiers in the field and gave them each a pen. Said to hold your breath and write a poem until you breathe again. These mumble rappers need to learn how to speak again. And no, I'm not hating, just teaching. Hope I'm reaching them. My tongue's the drum inside this poem, making that beat again. Semantics be organic, it's that whole food I'm feeding them. My mama said to tell the truth, make them believe again. My people paved the path, one day my baby girl would lead the men. Fist up for my people getting free again. Never stop fighting, even if it means I bleed for them. Summon the dragon and pick me up on its wings again and fly above the world, dropping love upon the scene again. Woo! I'm trying to recenter my chi again. Locked inside the box until I learn to turn the key again. Opened it up and breathed deep and let the freedom in. Succeeded to proceed to find peace and harmony again. And now I'm feeling like myself again. Back to good habits, physical and mental health again. Loving life, playing cards that I was dealt again. Invested in myself so now I'm well and I can help my friends. Invested in myself so now I'm well and I can help my friends. Invested in myself. Please raise your hand if you are investing in yourself. If you are not raising your hand, then please begin investing in yourself. When I talk about investing in yourself, I'm talking about what it is that you are putting in your body.
That's it.
But I'm not just talking about the food and the things that you drink, though. I'm also talking about what it is that you read, the media you consume, the people that you allow to be next to your excellence. What are you putting in your body? I know that I've been investing in myself, and so my hope is that through my investment in self, I'm able to invest in you with the poem set that I have in honor of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I begin with gratitudes. I want to give thanks to the ancestors who made it possible for me to be here. It is through the beauty and brilliance that they originate from and currently consist of that I arrive with these poems on my tongue. And I know that it's my responsibility to continue paving the path for those I will one day be an ancestor to. I want to be sure that I give thanks to the indigenous folks who are responsible for the grounds from which we sit and stand upon in this very moment. I specifically want to name the Puppet tribe and all the descendants that are currently still present. And I want to make sure that beyond the verbal acknowledgement that you take the time to learn more about the original caretakers of the land who had their land stolen from them. The greatest acknowledgement that you can give is learning their histories and sharing it with others. I want to give thanks to each and every one of you for being in the space, having your eyes, ears, hearts, and minds open to receive whatever it is that I may give. And of course, I want to give thanks to A.M.E. Zion Church. And where's Miss Pat? Miss Pat. Can we please clap it up for Miss Pat? Blessed me with her existence last evening at a poem event where I had the high honor to be a keynote poet and was like, I know that we called you for one poem, but can you do like a maybe? And so for you to find me worthy of the cause, I appreciate it. And my last shout out is to the hidden labor. So I want to give thanks to the hidden labor, the people that made sure the lights were on, the people that we don't see, that made sure soap was in the soap dispenser. This fight, this movement that Dr. King is so present in is one in which there was a lot of hidden labor too. A lot of folks behind the scenes. So I cannot name the high honoring of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. without also naming Coretta Scott.
Yes.
Many black queens behind the scene were not physically present, but are just as responsible for this work that we honor the great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King for. And hopefully I could speak some of that messaging through the poems. This first poem that I deliver is called Dr. King, Beyond the Whitewash. Y'all better stop whitewashing my Martin. Y'all been treating him like a picket fence for far too long now with your high and wide paintbrush strokes, attempt to choke the truth out the cause. Y'all better stop it. No more patience for y'all I have a dream infatuation. The way you handpick Martin's words and craft quotes for comfort, then look the other way when truth takes his seat at the table like Martin ain't told you. The problem of racial injustice and economic injustice cannot be solved without a radical redistribution of political and economic power. Like, you ain't know Martin owned those truth-telling words? Like they ain't lived in the crevices of his teeth. Like Martin ain't said the price that America must pay for the continued oppression of the Negro and other minority groups is the price of its own destruction. Or ain't said white Americans must recognize that justice for black people cannot be achieved without radical changes in the structure of our society. Stop whitewashing my Martin. Do not speak of the necessity to be colorblind when I know you see us. Do not translate peaceful protest as acceptance of violent supremacy. Do not act like Martin would not have marched with Patrice. Do not kumbaya the movement. Y'all better stop whitewashing my Martin. Y'all been treating him like a picket fence for far too long. This is the part where you can clap. I've been more public about this statement as I grow older. I become more and more anxious, increasingly anxious, when I am in front of people speaking. And so and any energy that you can give, whether it is auditory or it's silent, please send it to me, and I will receive it. I think that one of the things that often happens when we think about Dr. Martin Luther King and his legacy are the stories that we don't zoom in on that are behind the scenes. And the fact that it was not an easy fight, it was not this acceptance that a lot of the story tends to wrap itself around. Actually, it was very difficult. He was very much not liked for the work that he was engaging in, and it wasn't always at the forefront and visible. And so this next poem is kind of in honor of that concept, and the poem is called You Are Invited, Why Are You Here? It's called You're Invited, Why Are You Here? Be big. Be so very big, but not too big. Be the kind of big that we want you to be. Like small. Like so small, your voice is a whisper's whisper. Like so small, your existence is past tense, past memory. Like you became who, what, when, where, and why, all in the same singular breath. Be big, but not too big. Be the kind of big that we want you to be, like small. So small you are unknown, unmattered, not mattering. Be big, but not too big. Only enough for us to know that you might have used to been here. Please know that we invite you, but you are not invited. Not in this space, not here, not there, not anywhere close. Maybe we will allow you to be a fleck on the mountain of us in the distance, a grain of sand. Just maybe. But I know the ancestors sent for me. Yes. I can never be what some pretend to be. No, no, no. I can never be what some pretend to be. be, no, no. I used to find myself between rocks and hard places. Hard times, hard minds, and all these hard faces. But then I learned to grind and rise up to the large spaces. Haile Selassie methodology is all sacred. Homie, it's all basic. You gotta put your faith in. You see them dreams flying by, you better go and chase them. Hop on a spaceship, no time to be wasted. That's how you advance to high stance from basic. And I ain't talking about material or swag or nothing. I'm talking about your mind, body, soul, having something. So many put their hands out but never grab at nothing. Then wonder why we about to die without having something. No, no. Truth be told, if y'all wait too long, then the soup gets cold. Don't delay another day to go achieve your goal. But in the process of that, don't leave your soul. No, no. I don't think this place was ever meant for me. But I know the ancestors sent for me. I can never be what some pretend to be. No, 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 no. I can never be what some pretend to be. No, no. In thinking about honoring Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, I think about, I too think about what he would say today if he were alive. And I think about what it would be like if you were on Instagram. And so this poem is called If Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Were on Instagram. Yo, if Dr. King were alive and he happened to be on Instagram and for some reason was not catching a shadow ban, I can only imagine what he might be posting in the deep belly of this moment. Maybe he'd be posting a few selfies, a couple of MLK events, maybe even this one. Probably not. Maybe an old photo of him in Coretta, an image of a march with a brief description emphatically saying, "We out here." Probably a Palestinian with a request for us all to stand against inhumanity. And of course, somewhere on his feed, we may find a letter to Breonna Taylor's mother, Tamir Rice's mother, to Trayvon Martin's mother, George Floyd's mother, saying, "We shall overcome, Black Lives Matter." In the 1963's high noon, there was a sound so sweet that honeybees become more attuned, a rumbling, tumbling hum wrapped in a preacher man's cadence, and beyond the sound, the words, the truthful meaning of them all, and beyond the words, the march, and beyond the march, the movement, the so much black brilliance, the so much bodacious, bold black beauty, the collective contributions, the strategy, the foundational black woman, the Ella Baker, the Mahalia Jackson, the Dorothy Cotton, the Joanne Robinson, the Rosa Parks, and Coretta, to all of which this occasion is owed. Coretta. Coretta. This occasion is owed to you in so many more ways than a single poem could ever tell, and a million more still could not. Triumphant are we, immersed in the roots of this deep, beautiful black, this brilliance, this effortless genius, my ancestors, the receipts, how Dr. King can speak a poem into the universe and ignite flames in the bones of bodies to the extent that they move, to the extent that we speak up, to the extent that we speak out, to the extent that we act, to the extent that we act as if an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere, because it is. And so yes, Dr. King's Instagram would be selfless and therefore would have far less selfies than images of Sudan and the Congo and Gaza and the houseless and the hungry and the very most marginalized, and the magic of the masses coming together and saying no, and marching and moving like Martin would be, knowing that no one is free unless everyone is free. Thank you, baby. Can we clap it up for my baby? Yo, my whole aura ain't always for ya. So stop trying to argue with me like you a lawyer trying to prove your case so you don't lose your case. So many moves to make, I just might move to space. This atmosphere's got me trapped in fear. It's got me thinking, gosh darn it, what has happened here? I don't want to have to wear another mask in here. I'm just trying to stay alive while being black in here. My mechanism is better vision and better wisdom. Better tools to use for breaking out this mental prison. Hold on to joy like it's my first choice and last decision. Fight for myself and all my people, homie, that's the mission. Forget the stray bullets and all the ones that meant to hit them. When we all know that the truth is we wish they missed him. So he could go home and have his mama hug and kiss him. So he could go home and have his mama hug and kiss him. We won't forget him. Dag nabbit, don't back at it with black magic. Black beauty, not black tragic, I can't have it. I'm on some joy stuff, making a lot of noise stuff. Raising my black fishes as much as I raise my voice stuff. Holy matrimony got these homies acting phony. If y'all don't want me in the space, then stop asking for me. Spit fire like I'm a dragon, be burning your whole roof up. And y'all don't even want to know the half of it. Been in the basement trying to move up where the attic is. My whole self, nothing else with no additives. Organic honesty sinking these liars' battleships. White people asking questions just so they could talk. I know my answers don't matter, you keep on laying chalk. I ain't sending light no more, homie, I'm sending dark. Without the beauty of blackness, no one can see a spark. Without the beauty of blackness, no one can see a spark. Without the beauty of blackness. And I have one last poem, and thank you for riding with me. When I say black is, you say beautiful. Black is beautiful. Black is beautiful. When I say black is, y'all say brilliant. Black is brilliant. Black is brilliant. When I say black is, y'all say genius. Black is genius. Black is genius. When I say black is, y'all say joy. Black is joy. Black is joy. Black is joy. Black is joy. Clap it up for yourself. A homework assignment. I'm an educator, and I became a teacher for the perpetual snow day. The feeling that you get when someone's like, hey, gotta go to school. And I became a teacher for my second reason was so I could give homework assignments. And so in the nature and the legacy of that, I give this homework assignment. I say that Dr. King has a huge homework assignment for us. When you say? You feel me? Did you hear that? Dr. King got a huge homework assignment. Yes, we've come far. We got so much farther to go. And so thank you for being a catalyst. Thank you, Coretta, for being a catalyst. You know, Coretta carried the work on even after Martin had left, Dr. King had left. Right? She carried the work on for multiple communities, was a big proponent of the support for our LGBTQIA+ community. And so they have laid a path for us to walk on. May we continue walking on it. That is our homework assignment. In addition to that, I give you this homework assignment. This poem's called Homework Assignment. Very original. Write a poem. Write a poem into the atmosphere and aim it at the pale skin moon. Dance it off your pen and out your mouth and stretch it past the sky. Let them poems be like tide and crash like wave, echo like screams in the belly of a cave, and then be still. Be so still like no wind blades of grass. Like humming bird belly, not the wings, like stone. Like so much dark. Still like the night, like a vacant country road to somewhere. Write me that poem. Pen me that peach fuzz soft stanza, that warm buttery couplet, that reach out and hug you tight for a long time poem. Write me a Howl at the Moon poem. Go ahead, Howl at the Moon. Write me that poem. Write me that zigzag lightning poem stuffed with static electric sonnets, a poem that can dance on Saturn's rings and kiss you deeply as it sings. Write me a poem that stings. One of those killer bee yellow jacket poems, salt in an open wound poem. Give me some of that venom-filled iambic pentameter, swirl it up with hot sauce and drink it down and spit me some fire-type poem. An ice cube slowly melting in your mouth poem. A poem that I can drink from. A quench my thirst type poem. Go off and write me that poem. You write it in a journal. Write it on a napkin. Write it on the cuff of your sleeve. Go and write me that poem. Thank you so much for having me.
Educator, hip-hop artist, poet, Brian T. Parker. Thanks again for sharing your gift. Thank you for sharing that gift. And also the reminder that, not everybody received Dr. King well back in those days, right? There were folks in the white community, black community, who felt it was too accommodating. His nonviolent approach was not really the way to go. Malcolm X felt by any means necessary. So there were competing camps on how best to achieve racial justice, and we tend to forget that. So thank you for that reminder. We're now going to hear from some youth speakers, some talented young folks in our community. First, Jocelyn Chism, 17 years old, a junior at Ram High School. Where is Ram? What town? Hebron? Okay, Hebron. And a member of Archer Memorial A.M.E. Church. Around issues of respect, equality for all people, and believe that all voices are important and should be heard. She desires to become more involved and do more for people in her community, including educating them. Jocelyn plans to build a college at a HBCU, historically black college university, and pursue the field of communications. She was checking out the microphone earlier before you all got in. All right. So, looking forward to hearing her. Jocelyn.
I tried to keep myself together after his poetry. That was amazing. So amazing. But I didn't do a very good job keeping myself together. Okay. I have what I wrote for you guys today and how his legacy is affected on me today and how I see it. So, Dr. King's dream still lives on today as it is in me and many others who are gathered here today as we've entered the year 2024, 56 years after his death. When I went to search up how long it's been since the day of his assassination, I couldn't begin to think it's been over half a century. And I can say that dream has definitely made progress, but not yet came to reality, but is yet on its journey. When you think of this nation, America, what do you think of? I want you to all take a moment and think. Well, I personally think of all the different races and people that make up this amazing, diverse country, and my ancestors that helped rebuild our nation after they fought so hard for this country to be one nation under God, like it once was. America. Dr. King was so passionate about what he believed in, he was willing to sacrifice his life. I believe he knew the circumstances he was going to be getting himself into when he chose to write and preach his word. He did that for someone like me and others gathered here today, so that we can all have a voice and be here in front of you today. Because once it was illegal to have an interracial marriage. Crazy, right? My entire life I would feel so ashamed of who I was, the feeling of being left out, insults about the way I look, or my culture behind so-called jokes. But I thought jokes were meant to be funny. You're supposed to get laughter from that other person. I don't think they're jokes. I think it's blatantly called ignorance, and that's how too many Americans carry themselves today. I find it so hard to stay sane as a black girl in America because of the way they treat us and the way society portrays the black American female. We are fast-acting, we'll end up pregnant, single mothers, or unmarried, and that we are angry and aggressive. Can we ever just be our true, authentic selves? How do you stay sane as a colored American with all that you see and that goes on still today in society? The deaths of innocent colored people and even children, the riots, and even our last president, but let's not get me started on that guy. But I find my biggest struggle as a biracial female is to find the balance. As I've typed up this speech, I've struggled to understand how Dr. King could stay so put together and answer the questions he would get asked. As a biracial female and just a colored female, I feel the pressure from society that I'm being too black, they say, but then I'm too white at times for a black person, but too black for a white person. Can we ever just be? I feel that so many Americans have identity crisis because of how precious society makes you feel to be a certain race. Race has been a strange and pertinent poison in American history, and I feel it is still carried on in society today. I'm 100% sure that depending on where you are and where you have grown up, your experiences with seeing it, or at least the moment you recognize it, may vary. Some believe it isn't an issue anymore and it's a thing of the past, but I'm here to tell you otherwise. I feel that race is almost like dinosaurs that never went extinct but instead evolved. Don't get me wrong, there are people in this country, I believe, that know that race and more critical racism is everywhere robbing people of liberty. But I believe that racism isn't born into you, but is taught, and it's almost like a pop song that everyone claims to hate, but everyone knows the words to. And then suddenly no one hates the song anymore, but instead it's almost like an anthem that is hard to end. As I've gotten older, I've started to see the depths of racism and how it can kill a soul because of what almost happened to me. Can we ever just be?
Early mic check paid off for you. Huh? Very nice job. Very nice job. Jocelyn Allison Chism. One more round of applause. Aleks Gould. Aleks, am I saying, pronounce that right? Aleks? Okay. Aleks Gould, 15 years old and is in 10th grade at the Academy of Aerospace and Engineering in Windsor. She's been involved with many school and community activities, Girl Scouts, First Church in Windsor Youth Deacon, Church Choir, Robotics, Debate Team, United Nations participant, Student Rep in Windsor's Human Relations Commission. She's also president of the Interact Club and a member of a peer mediation group at school, obviously very involved with her school and community, an avid reader. She likes to help others, and she's heading to college. Her goal is to become an early elementary school teacher. Alex, your time, come on.
There you go. Firstly, I would like to thank the Archer Memorial A.M.E. Zion Church for allowing me to speak here today. Secondly, I would like to show my appreciation to both Mr. Parker and Jocelyn. Y'all were amazing. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said these words in St. Louis in 1964. And he was right. He was right back then, and he is still right today in 2024. We are all people, and we are connected by one thing or another, whether it's by race, ethnicity, sexuality, gender, faith, or something else. We are all connected. We can even be connected simply because we have the same favorite color or the same favorite food. We are much more alike than we are different. We are taught in schools to treat others the way they want to be treated. This concept you learned as a child is more important than learning to tie your shoes. I may be assuming here, but I believe with all my heart, everyone wants to be treated with respect.
Yes.
And that is something we all have in common. Why don't we just treat each other with respect? Our world is full of war and anger and hurt and hate, and it creates darkness. Darkness like the night sky with no lights and no stars. Our world is also full of hope and kindness and faith and love. And in our darkest moments, these brighten up our world with light. Light like the sun on the brightest day with no clouds. And finally, we have social justice activists like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who strives to make the world a better place, a beloved place, for everyone. Dr. King said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that." Social justice activists and advocates like Dr. King are everywhere. They are the stars who bring light to drive out the darkness, even when it seems there isn't enough light. I believe Dr. King's legacy survives. Look around you. Really look. We truly have everyone here.
Yes.
Windsor is a diverse community, and we are all different, but we still have those connections, all those connections, that make us much more the same than we are different. His legacy survives, but it does not thrive. Dr. King has a famous quote, has lots of famous quotes. Specifically, I like these words. I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. Dr. King had a dream, and so do I. I have a dream that regardless of what happens in this world, we can lean on those around us, regardless of differences, and take steps to bring us all into a brighter, more hopeful, and loving environment. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy, I'll say it again, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy, his beloved community, needs to do more than survive. It needs to thrive. I dream of a day, sometime soon, when it does. Thank you.
Aleks, thanks for those great words, and again, Ryan and Jocelyn, you all did a great job with your words. I kind of like Aleks, and Mayor, I hope you're watching. We're going to go to our community reflection through song. Before I do that, we mentioned some dignitaries who are in the audience. State Rep Bobby Gibson is here, just arrived, and Gibson. We're going to hear a community reflection through song. Ain't nobody gonna turn me around into the song, and it really speaks to the strength and resilience that those who were fighting for civil rights had to display during that era. So, Pat's gonna lead us in song.
Those were your old black spirituals, so they were people out in the cotton fields, probably.
Voices before our main speaker, so we are going to let her know and show her some love by really giving her our voices right now, right? All right. Ain't gonna let nobody
turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
Birds.
Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around,
injustice,
turn me around. Ain't gonna let injustice turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
racism,
Let no racism turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let racism turn me around. Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
back to the beginning.
Let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land.
I'll take music lessons for next year. Sing, yes.
Time for our keynote speaker. You guys ready? Yeah. All right. I can read her bio, do a pretty good job, but I think it's best to have her husband read her bio. Okay. Reverend. Come on, Reverend. Keynote speaker, and he will tell us about this very distinguished guest speaker. Thank you.
I would like you to move in with me. You can bring your wife and your daughter. Get some affirmations every morning. Wonderful, wonderful job. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
As you heard, I am Reverend Kirkpatrick Anthony Burke. I identify as the mayor's husband, Mr. Mayor, first gentleman, and first man. I've been graced with the opportunity to introduce my wife today. She's going to add the cherry on top. Love you. So before I do that, allow me to share a snippet of Mayor Black-Burke's accomplishments. Nuchette Black-Burke is an innovative and collaborative family and community engagement professional with over 15 years of experience in education, coordination, and nonprofit program administration. Mrs. Black-Burke has extensive communication and relationship building experience across diverse populations ranging from youth development and young adult support to community, civic, educational, and political contributions. Her work includes workshop facilitation, board membership, advocacy, public speaking, and grant program management. Nuchette is heavily involved in the local educational affairs of her community in Windsor. In November 2015, she was elected to the Windsor Board of Education and served until 2018. She played a vital role on the Windsor Board of Education, serving as the chair of the Curriculum and Technology Committees. During her term, she also served as the delegate to the Capital Region Education Council, CREC Board. In October 2018, Mrs. Black-Burke was appointed to the Windsor Town Council, and in November 2019 was re-elected in 2021. In 2023, was elected to a third term on the Town Council and became the first African-American mayor in Windsor CT. Give her a hand. Additionally, she is a proud member of the Greater Hartford chapter of the Lynx and the Hartford Alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, where she currently serves as second vice president. Reverend Black-Burke has received numerous awards, including having been named to the 2017 class of the 100 Women of Color, named to the Cricket Hall of Fame, the Bridge Builders Award from the Town of Windsor Human Relations Commission, the Community Service Award from Urban League of Greater Hartford, and recognition by the Town of Windsor as one of its phenomenal women. Nuchette's faith is foremost in her life. She is a credentialed minister in the Church of God and serves at the Rehoboth Church of God in Bloomfield. As a member of Rehoboth, she faithfully serves in several capacities and is currently the Director of Youth and Discipleship. She holds a bachelor's degree from Western Connecticut State University, a master's in education from the University of Hartford, and a certificate in family engagement from Harvard University. Mrs. Black-Burke is currently employed by Hartford Public Schools as the Chief of Engagement, Family and Community Partnerships. While she wears many hats and has many roles, her most important role is being a wife and a mother to her sons. Please help me give a warm welcome to my wife, my baby mama, Mrs. Mayor Nuchette Melissa Black-Burke.
But that is so needed, and I say often that I cannot be or do all of the things that I am able to do without his unwavering support. He supports me. And I would also like to say thank you to my family. My mom and sister and niece and brother are here. So thank you. And of course, the apples of my eye next to Kirk, my two handsome sons.
All right.
And to all the folks in Windsor, thank you so much, Pat. I appreciate that. To all the folks in Windsor that I've had the opportunity to serve with in various capacities through the years, they're an amazing team. As you can tell from the Board of Education and the Town Council, we like to have a good time with each other, and we work well together. So a shout out to all of you for being a dynamic team. Thank you. So much has been said already today. I know I am full. I am full, really, really excited about all of you being here today. And it's been said over and over again that today is not a day off. You know, Alex, I really liked what you shared about not just surviving, but thriving. Can you imagine that Dr. King, he was assassinated in 1968, and it wasn't until 1983 that he received a national holiday. And it was not observed until 1986. Not just surviving, but it has to keep on thriving, right? Yes. So it's not a day off, but a day on, and all of you being here lets me know that it is a day on. So our theme today is be a drum major for justice, equity, and peace. If not you, then who? So when you think about a drum major, and don't worry, Kirk, I'm not going to do the back bend. I'm not. Do the back bend. When you think about a drum major, this is probably what comes up in your mind, right? For many people, we know about the marching bands. They keep the tempo, they're moving. I mean, attempt the back bend, just not here. But that's what we think about. But even as we think about the bands and the drum majors, and we're so intrigued by their performances, we're really intrigued by it. But do you know that to be a drum major is a major responsibility? It's hours and hours of service and leadership. You are responsible. Can you imagine if he's doing that move on the field and something goes awry? Boy, it takes a whole band off kilter. They're like, what do we do next? Because they are looking towards the drum major to set the pace, to keep the beat, and to let them know where it is they're supposed to be going, and exactly where on the yard line they should land. Yeah, I like that pose. I can do that one. I can do that one.
That is so cool.
But as I prepared for today, and I think this will be the third time that you've heard it, and earlier today when I was at our sorority breakfast, and I did plan to give a shout out to my sister Greeks, the wonderful ladies of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. On their Founders Day, ours was 2 days ago, at our breakfast this morning, we also heard it. I really would love to have a conversation with Dr. King and wonder what he would say if he were still here. What would he be thinking about? I also wonder what would my life be like if Dr. King were not the drum major, holding up his hand, deciding that he was going to step forward and keep pace and keep tempo and keep striving for what he wanted to see. Can you imagine? Oh, Jala, would we have the access and the opportunities that we have? Alex, as you said, each and every one of us, what would life be like if Dr. King had not been that drum major? So in 1968, at Ebenezer Baptist Church, Dr. King delivered one of his last sermons, and it was entitled The Drum Major Instinct, on Sunday, February 4th. And so before he delivered that sermon, I keep saying to myself, did he know? Did he know, Ryan, what was to come? But in that sermon, believe it or not, it was 2 months exactly before his assassination. And when you read the transcript, you recognize that he was speaking prophetically about his own death. And what he talked about in that sermon, it speaks to the humanistic nature of us wanting to be out front, raising our hand. The innate, you know, Ryan, I'm sure your little girl is always saying, oh, me, I can do it, I can do it. It's just something about us as humans. We want to be out in front. And it's not a bad thing. How we use it is what gets us in trouble. And so Dr. King talked to his congregation that night because he was speaking in his church, the Ebenezer Baptist Church. And I would dare say that he gave them a challenge. And I would dare say that it was a challenge that the world would take up. How do we harness that humanistic nature to be the one raising our hand, to be up front, look at me? How do we harness that and bring it in line to do something powerful and to do something good with it. And he gave them that charge that night to use it to promote justice, equity, and peace. How do we go about doing that? Well, that's the question. How do we go about being the drum major? Not so we can be seen, not just to sign up on the roll so you're taking up space, not to say, oh, well, I did sign up, so I guess I did my part. No, but how do you really sign up and do it for justice, for equity, and for peace? Not to just talk about it, but to actually be about it. 56 years later, the challenge that Dr. King gave that night, it still resonates. And it brings out with even deeper meaning. I said earlier, I am a crier, so y'all help me. You know, when I am moved, I get to crying. I promised Kirk I wouldn't cry. I won't cry, I promise. 56 years later, that challenge still rings out. It resonates. While we can celebrate so much that has been accomplished and that has happened since the Civil Rights Movement, we can see the tangible evidence, State Rep. We can see it. We can see it, right? But my goodness, has progress really been made? Has it? Has progress really been made? We still grapple with enduring issues of injustice, economic inequality, social divisions, wars and all kinds of wars. Things need to change. I'm going to be the first to stand up and say, we need a ceasefire, right? We need a ceasefire. Don't get me wrong. You know I'm a church girl. I am Pentecostal through and through, believe it. Believe it. But what is happening is inhumane. And no, I'm not going to use it as my bully pulpit. We'll save that for a little later. But it's inhumane.
That's right.
It's inhumane, and there must be a ceasefire. We are still grappling with injustice. And you know what? The injustice, the social inequality, the social divisions, I refer to them as these inhibitors that contribute to what I heard someone say a few years ago, these contemporary manifestations of injustice, right? We have these questionable structures and systems and hierarchies that have been set up. And dare I say again, they are questionable, questionable structures that must be challenged continuously. Why? It impedes progress for many individuals, for our communities, and for those that may not even have a voice to say. It impedes progress. Our theme today is to be a drum major for justice, equity, and peace. Miss Pat, forgive me, I changed it up a little bit. Okay? All right, good. I changed it up just a little bit. Be a drum major for justice, equity, and peace. And in the Black church, we like to do a lot of call and response. Okay? So, here we go. All right? So I'm going to say, be a drum major for justice, equity, and peace. And I want you to respond with, if not me,
if not me,
and if not you,
and if not you,
then who?
Then who?
Can we do that together? All right, so here we go. So our theme today is be a drum major for justice, equity, and peace. Now point to yourself. If not me, and if not you, then who? One more time. If not me, and if not you, then who? Then who? If not me, then who? And so I was reflecting, and I'm like, I get it. You're probably saying, doing your part. You know, Nuchette, to be a drum major for justice, equity, and peace, it can make you a little bit vulnerable. It can be uncomfortable. It can be lonely. Dr. King started his work in really before that, but it became recognized in 1955. Do the math. From 1955 to 1963, how long is that? Oh, yes. From 1955 to 1968, how long is that? From 1955 to 1983, how long is that? Right? It's not going to happen quickly, but it has to be done. You have to endure. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep pushing, right? In our Jamaican vernacular, we like to say every little, right? Every little makes a muckle, meaning every little bit, you keep going. You keep going because it's making a difference. I put this up because I think about drum majors in our own town. Our board president talked about how all of us are drum majors. I probably don't have to go into detail about this poster, but a few years back, a young lady in our community, a parent who I served with, a situation happened in 2016. She didn't know, she had no idea that by sounding the alarm, that it could catapult her into a place that probably was very nerve-wracking as a mother of 2 children. So when the Associated Press and others started calling, but she still answered the call because she said, if not me, and if not you, then who?
There you go. She's sitting in the audience.
I didn't ask for permission, I meant to this morning, sorry. But Miss Ayanna Taylor,
yes,
she was that drum major. When this mural of President Obama was painted over,
yeah,
she didn't mind raising her hand like the picture of the drum major I just showed. And she said, no, we can't stand for that. That's wrong. That's an injustice. It minimizes all the children that had their names on that mural right there.
yeah.
If not me, and if not you, then who? So I might write it. This one, it's still very sensitive, right? We were like, not in our town. You're not allowed to do something like that in our town, right? Again, it wasn't just me. There's several of you sitting in this audience that are in that picture.
Yeah.
Several of you. And we stood together to say, not in our town. Because again, that's the part that says, if not me, and if not you, then who? We all have to be a drum major for justice, for equity, and for peace. As a society, I recognize that we have become very comfortable with, you know, I have my 4, I don't need any more, right? I have my 5, Darlene, I'll survive, right? We're very comfortable. We're very looking inward. It's just about us. We become a very selfish society. And in thinking about Dr. King's last sermon, I have to ask myself, are you willing to be a little bit uncomfortable for the greater good? Are you willing to be a little bit uncomfortable so you can help someone who might be in need, to address something that doesn't concern you any at all? Because as a society, if it doesn't hit us directly, a lot of times we're like, I don't need to worry about it. Dr. King, when he was talking about that drum major instinct and he gave that charge, he was letting us know that you can't turn a blind eye to injustice. We heard it already today. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. John Lewis, James Farmer, I can keep calling names. They fought way too hard for us to sit back on our laurels, to sit back in our comfortability and watch as things are repealed, as things are challenged that they fought for. We have to ensure that for generations to come, for Ms. Prism, for Alex, for Caleb, for Ezra, for young Miss Parker over there, that it is preserved. Not only is it surviving, but good Lord, it has to thrive. It has to continue. Might I ask you a couple of questions? Where is your compassion? Where is your concern? The person living under the bridge, you're right, you're going home to your warm house. But how are we as a society working together to ensure that we have affordable housing? That we provide access to those who need it most? Where is your concern? Where is your compassion? We all need to be drum majors for justice, for equity, and for peace. Still today in 2024, the lingering question, will you be that drum major? Will you stand up? Will you raise your hand? Are you the next Dr. King? I'm going to let that one sit for a minute. Are you the next John Lewis? I could never be. I can promise you, Dr. King probably didn't think he was going to be catapulted the way he was into the public sphere. He was just trying to help a little lady out. He was just trying to help a little lady out. And the rest is history. So many of us, we've tried to sound the alarm. Yep, I hear you saying, well, I've tried to share, I've tried to reach out, you know, I've written to the different people, but keep doing it. Keep attending the meetings. Keep sounding the alarm. One thing with drum majors, if I go back to the backbend picture, they keep practicing, they keep doing it over and over again. They continue to work. So I leave you with this. In being a drum major, respond. Respond, it's that simple.
If it's not.
Assemble your allies. Assemble folks that you know will be willing to lead the charge with you. Respond, assemble your allies.
Yes.
Get out there.
Yes.
Do the work. It is scary. Trust me. I raised my hand, I should know. It's a scary place to be. It's a scary place to be. And nothing happens quickly, right? They often say that change only happens at the speed of trust.
It's true.
That's when change begins to happen. And because I'm a little church girl, right? I told you I'm very Pentecostal. I have to leave you with a scripture, of course. And as we are doing this work as drum majors for justice, equity, and peace, over in the New Testament, in 1 Corinthians 15:58, it reminds us that, my beloved brothers and sisters, be steadfast. Be steadfast about the work. Don't be so quick to move. Be immovable. Always excelling in the work. Doing your best and doing more than is needed. Being continually aware that even if, Stephen, no one says thank you on this side, know that he will thank you on the other side. And know that even as you get to the point of exhaustion, it reminds us to be steadfast, be unmovable, always abounding. Because know that it's neither futile, nor is it wasted. Nor is it wasted. I said every little does make a muckle. If you keep going, if you keep striving, if you keep going, if you keep striving, it took Dr. King from 1955 to 1963, to 1968, to 1983, to 1986, to 2024, to 2024 and beyond. That is what being a drum major is all about. Be a drum major for justice. Be a drum major for equity. Be a drum major for peace. And knowing that nothing is futile, nothing is wasted. Respond, act, and keep moving forward. I'll close by saying that Dr. King, in one of his famous speeches, he talks about, well, while you're on this side of heaven, if you can't be the moon, well, be the sun. Right? If you can't be the track star, now I'm misquoting it, but that's all right, I'm adding my own flair in 2024. If you can't be a track star, well, be a football player. If you can't be the superintendent, well, by golly, be the teacher. Right? But whatever it is that you are called to do, do your part and keep moving, keep striving. If not me, and if not you, then who? Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks again, Windsor Mayor. Mr. Burke, thank you for sharing your baby mama's tonight. Appreciate that very much. And I want to thank you all for attending. This was great. Very impressive words. And I know you said first term or first year as mayor, first few months, so very impressive ladies, frankly. So we're going to go now to, I want to mention to you that our pastor, William Campbell, has been under the weather for a few days. He sends his regrets and his regards, along with First Lady Frances Campbell. They wanted to be here, they could not make it here, so asking for their prayers. And in their stead, we're going to have Reverend Monique Sanders. He's going to give some remarks from our church.
Sorry, Bo, just a slight point of privilege. Believe it or not, I was very nervous and I failed to say thank you to Arch Memorial and the wonderful people of Arch Memorial A.M.E. Zion Church. So I do have manners. I do apologize for that. God bless you.
I gotta bring this down to my level. So sad. Good evening. I am the Reverend Monique Sanders, pastor of Blackwell Memorial A.M.E. Zion Church. I am here to bring greetings and remarks on behalf of the wonderful pastor from Archer Memorial A.M.E. Zion Church, where I was born and bred. He is my father in ministry, the Reverend William L. Campbell and his wife, Frances Olivia Campbell. I would just like to say on their behalf, Pat and your committee, you have done it again. I was once a part of that committee, so I know the amount of hours, I know the work. I know the work. I definitely know the work that Pat puts in and her committee puts in, and we are grateful. We are grateful. Ryan Parker. That's my dog. I thank you, King Poet. Your words always, always, always inspire and command us to do more. Where's my girl, Aleks? Hey, boo. Oh, yeah. Aleks, you are amazing, beyond amazing. And we thank you so much. My little cousin, my baby, Jocelyn Chism, I am beyond proud. You have done our family well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you've done your church well. I thank you. And Nuchette Melissa Black-Burke, proud class of 1994. My sociology friend, my step team captain. What up, dog? I'd just like to say thank you, and on behalf of Pastor Campbell and his wife, they certainly are welcoming you to the Windsor community. Not that you aren't always here, but you are now here reimagined as the mayor, the first Afro-Caribbean mayor. I will tell you, there's a joke that plays in my head. I do recall maybe junior year, maybe. I do recall Nuchette saying something like, one day I could be mayor of Windsor. Well, watch what you say. even with you. Amen. So we are beyond glad. We are beyond proud. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am just happy that everyone was here. Thank you for coming out again. Continue to do the work. Continue to do the work. It's not just in these events. It's not just in this room. Continue to do the work. If you heard something here today that inspired you to take it beyond these walls, to take it beyond this town, to take it even beyond this state, continue to do the work. Be a drum major. Be flexible. Bend until you cannot break. Do the work. Amen.
Okay, we're wrapping up. You're going to hear from our chair. Pat Garner did a great job. She's got remarks. We're going to have some refreshments over here, so feel free to fellowship with us.
Well, thank you all so very much. Before I go any further, one of the things that I want to do, because we don't all often see who's behind all this, we have an amazing MLK committee. And I want for them, wherever they are,
yes,
get whoever is not in here, if you can please come in. I want you all to come up, and I want to recognize you because, you know, they're excellent about being in the background, and they don't like to be in the front round. So I'm always up front because they won't come up here, right? But the amazing work that they do, and the collaboration and the ideas, we do it together, and I want to recognize them together. Be here for you today. They're very caring, very supportive, you know, willing to give their ideas. Tell me when some thoughts that I have aren't kind of right, you know, no, not quite that. And that's why, but we're very, we work very well in synergy, and so I thank you all so very much, and I just want to give you all another round of applause. Already running
So before everybody runs away, on behalf of the MLK committee, we just want to tell you how much we love you, Pat, and here is a little token.
I certainly want to thank the town of Windsor, our mayor, our town manager, Peter Souza. He was willing to do announcements for me at the meetings, but also his staff, who's here, Gary and Frank. They have been amazing with helping me with, you know, the technology and making sure that we're going to have a live stream for today. So I thank you all so much, town of Windsor. Always supportive, and I do appreciate you. Our speakers.
Oh, yes.
You're so gracious and kind, and I do appreciate you for spending a little bit more time with us than I had originally asked. But after I heard you yesterday, I just thought people need to know who you are and hear from you, because what you do to the soul needs to be out there. So thank you so very much. And then our youth speakers, oh my goodness.
Oh, yes.
I know, sometimes you experience something for the first time, but we could not tell this was your first time in an audience. You commanded your stage right here, and you shared with us some very valuable words, and the way that you presented yourself was truly amazing. So thank you so very much for being here. And then Jocelyn.
Oh, yes.
You know, I will just, if she doesn't mind, I just want to say to you, I had her in mind last year to be a speaker, one of our youth speakers.
Yes.
And we were working on that, but we didn't quite make it there, right? So she was still on my mind to come this year, and when I asked her, I was so excited when she said, okay, I'm ready now. I also want to recognize the parents of our young people, so I want you to stand. Thank you so much for allowing for them to share on this stage. We really do appreciate it. And we also want to thank Pastor Westley Beason for coming and Windsor community again. We hope that this won't be the last time that we are together. Exactly. That sounds good to me. And Salena, Willis, thank you for your participation as well as in the program. And Mayor. This was the second time that I had asked her to be so kind to grace us with her words and being a speaker. The first time was when we were in COVID and we were online. We had to do an online program. So I don't know how, but she did a beautifully perfect program for online. But she's so dynamic that we wanted to make sure, and this is the time. This was the time to have you come and to be here with us today as our main speaker. And we love you, we support you.
Yes.
And we hope that everyone here has really listened to what she has said. She's given us a charge.
Yes.
She said, not just, if not me, not you, then who? And so that's responsibility. All of us have to be accountable. So thank you so much for that. And Mr. Stan Simpson. I always love when he says yes to being an MC, because then I can sit and listen and enjoy, you know, and he has to take all the pressure to make sure everything's going. But he's just dynamic, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for standing instead for our pastor and Reverend First. I also just want to give a shout out to our Archer Memorial A.M.E. Zion Church family, so if you're here, yay. And then because we're running a little bit behind, and I apologize for that, in terms of, it was just so much goodness going on here, you know. I probably put a couple more songs in here than I should have, but the reason I have put in, and we're not going to sing it, but This Little Light of Mine, the reason I had that is because, and it was said earlier, when you think about the work that needs to be done, you all know that you're a light in the darkness, right? Yeah. So when you are shining your light and you're going to let it shine, people are going to take notice. We have to have the light to offset the darkness. And so just keep that in mind as you continue with the struggle. There's work to be done. Be that light, be that shining light that's going to offset that darkness. Okay? Just one last thing I would like to do before we go for refreshments is that we have a few presentations, and I want to thank Jane Gardner for putting all of these together. She's here. She's the creative one. So I'd like to first say thank you and words of appreciation to our youth speakers. And the first one I'd like to have come up is Aleks. We've given her a certificate of appreciation. It's presented to Aleks Gould for the outstanding presentation at the 2024 MLK celebration given by the Arch Memorial Zion Church on January 15, 2024 from our Reverend William L. Campbell, pastor. I'd like to have Jocelyn come up, please. Jocelyn. Same, I'd rather read some of it. The certificate of appreciation presented to Jocelyn Chism for her outstanding presentation at the 2024 MLK celebration. And then we would like to ask Mr. Parker to please come up. So one of the things that Mr. Parker said in his bio was that he was a chocolate chip cookie lover. So we wanted to thank you uniquely. And my sister, she's the baker, so we baked you some. She's the one who bakes. And then for our awesome speaker for today, our main speaker, Mayor Nuchette Black-Burke. This is just a little something for you to remember this day. And we can't thank you enough for all that you have been doing for this community and that you continue to do. And we thank you for being part of this very special program. And God bless you.
Oh, that's a nice picture. Oh, nice picture. Beautiful. Nice.
Hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. If I did forget some names or anything, please forgive me. But again, thank all of you for coming, all of our dignitaries, our town officials, our state officials, those who have come, and our superintendent. We thank you so much for being part of this. And now we would like to just make sure that you all enjoy the refreshments that have been prepared for you. So don't scoot out too fast. We would like for you to go over to the next room and have social time and then also enjoy the refreshments. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.